مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.
Hello dear students, it's me Mr Osama introducing a new vocab lesson. And again, as we always do, let's revise your homework. Open your workbooks page 29 to check exercise C. Exercise C. In exercise C, you had to fill in 8 spaces with words from a given list. The answers are as follows. Number 1, beggars. 2, flooding. 3, stroke. 4, eventually. 5, calling. 6, clinic. 7, coordinator. And finally, 8, expand. Now it's time to start our lesson. Vocabulary, student book page 40 and workbook page 30. And here are today's objectives. At the end of the period, students should be able to 1. Correctly complete a word lib recognizing parts of a speech, defining words and identifying synonyms. 2. Correctly guess the meanings of new words from contexts and then use them in meaningful contexts. Let's start our lesson. Open your student books page 40 to do exercises A, B, C, D, and E. Exercise A. Complete the word web below. First, write a definition and example sentence of the word donation. Next, use the words in the box to fill in the gaps. Then check your answers using a dictionary. First of all, have a look at the words. We have here the first word, generous. It means someone who always gives. He is generous. Hand out, to give by hand. Receive. Of course, all of us know this meaning. It means to get something. Donor is the giver. Contribution means giving. Public means all the people. Depend on, as you can see in the picture, the blind man depends on his dog. Blood, of course, it's the liquid of life. It's in your body and organs. And finally, the word donated means gave money for charity. After revising the words, let's have a look at the word donation. In the dictionary, donation means money or goods that are given to help a person or organization, or the act of giving them. Here are 2 examples of the word: donations of food and money. I'd like to make a small donation in my mother's name. And here are some more examples for you to check. Now it's time to use the words in the box here, which are generous, handout, receive, donor, contribution, public, depend on, blood, donated. We're going to use all these words to fill in the spaces in the diagram. As we all know, the diagram is related to the word donation. What's the definition of donation? I think we have just looked it up in a dictionary, and donation means money or goods given to charity. Who can put the word in a sentence? Yes, here is an example. Even a small donation can make a lot of good. As a part of a speech, donation is a noun. But it has a verb, which is donate, and an adjective, which is, in number 1, yes, donated. It means the given goods or money, which are given for charity, of course. Space number 2, yes, Donor is another noun derived from the word donation. Let's move to spaces 3 and 4, which deal with synonyms. Do you know what a synonym is? Yes, true. Synonyms are words that have the same meaning. So, do you know other synonyms of the word donation? Number 3, true, hand out. 4, contribution. To fill in the spaces 5 and 6, you have to get to know some words that go with the word donation. For example, give a donation, make a donation, appeal for a donation, rely on a donation. So, what's more can be used with this word donation? True, 5, receive, 6, depend on. Good job. It's worth mentioning that spaces 5 and 6 dealt with verbs that go with donation. But what about adjectives that go with the word donation? Here are some examples, and you have to fill in the spaces 7, 8, and 9. Handsome donation, large donation, personal donation, financial donation, organ donation. So what are the missing words in 7, 8, and 9? Yes, 7, generous. 8, public. 9, blood. So we can say generous donation, public donation, and blood donation. التبرع بالدم. Now let's move to exercise C. Notice I left out exercise B because it will be your homework. Exercise C. Before doing the exercise, watch the following video about suffixes, and after that, answer the questions in exercise C. Go on.
An affix is a word part that is attached or affixed to a root word. Sometimes an affix comes before a root word or stem, and sometimes it comes after. When it comes after the root word, it is called a suffix. The root word is the main part of a word that gives that word its basic meaning. When you attach a suffix to a root word, you add a little extra information, and that can change how the word gets used. There are many different suffixes, and they all make very different changes to root words. Some of them even make different changes, depending on what part of speech the root
Affixes
word is.
are letters that are added to a word. If they are added before the word, they are called prefixes. But if they are added after the word, they are called suffixes. Today, our concern will be with suffixes. Look at exercise C. You have here these suffixes, and you have to use them to fill in the spaces with the words, of course, after correcting them. Please pause the video, do the exercise, and then play the video to check your answers. Here are the answers. Number 1, generosity. 2, orphanage. 3, philanthropist. 4, fundraiser. 5, humanitarian. 6, openness. 7, volunteers. 8, gratitude. It's worth mentioning that suffixes or prefixes are added to the word and they change the meaning and the part of speech. For example, you have here the first word, which is generous. It's an adjective, right? When we added ity to the end of the word, it turned into generosity, which is a noun. Understood? I hope so. Now it's time to click on the pictures to look up the words in the dictionary. We have here 8 words: generosity, orphanage, philanthropist, fundraiser, humanitarian, openness, volunteer, gratitude. let's do it.
Generosity, generosity.
Generosity, generosity.
Orphanage, orphanage.
Orphanage, orphanage.
Philanthropist, philanthropist.
Philanthropist, philanthropist.
Fundraiser, fundraiser.
Fundraiser, fundraiser.
Humanitarian, humanitarian.
Humanitarian, humanitarian.
Openness, openness.
Openness, openness.
Volunteer, volunteer.
Volunteer, volunteer.
Gratitude, gratitude.
Gratitude, gratitude.
Now it's time to do exercise D. Exercise D. What do you notice about answers in activity C? What do they have in common? Here are the answers in exercise C: generosity, orphanage, philanthropist, fundraiser, humanitarians, openness, volunteers, and gratitude. So what's in common between them? Yes, true. All the answers in activity C are nouns. Remember that all these words were adjectives, but they were turned into nouns by adding suffixes. Here is a good chance to having fun. Pause the video, copy the link of the game, and have fun. But don't forget, come back to do exercise E. Exercise E. Watch the following video about concrete and abstract nouns and then fill in the table in exercise C. Watch and take notes.
Abstract nouns denote intangible things. These are things such as emotions, like love, hate, and anger. Feelings, like anxiety, sympathy, and fear. And qualities like brilliance, determination, and honesty. So you'll see these are things that you can't touch or see. Ideas like curiosity, knowledge, and a thought. States like freedom, peace, being. And concepts like culture, charity, and faith, and moments, birthday, marriage, death. So an abstract noun denotes something that's non-physical. Just reiterate that. An abstract noun is something you cannot see, hear, touch, smell, or taste. In other words, it's something you can't perceive with one of your 5 senses. Next, we'll look at concrete nouns. Concrete nouns are the opposite. Concrete nouns are tangible things. In other words, things you can perceive with one of your senses. So the scope of concrete nouns is very wide. Concrete nouns can be common nouns like man, dog, and lake. These are just the words we use for things that allows us to talk about them. Concrete nouns can be proper nouns like Trevor, Bonzo, and Lake Placid. These are the given names of things. Concrete nouns can be countable nouns like bear, country, and man. And countable nouns can have a plural form, so bears, countries, men. They can be non-countable nouns, so nouns that don't have a plural form, like oxygen, music, and tennis. Or collective nouns, and collective nouns are used for groups, such as team, a choir, and the word group itself. The scope of abstract nouns is much narrower. Abstract nouns tend to be common nouns, and the vast majority of them are non-countable nouns. Okay, so in summary, abstract nouns are intangible things like emotions, feelings, qualities, ideas, states, and moments, whereas concrete nouns are tangible things, so things that you can perceive with all of your senses.
Now let's answer exercise E. Put the words from activity C into the correct categories in the table below. The table is divided into 2 main parts. The first part, concrete nouns, which in turn is divided into 2 parts, people and things or places. The second part of the table is abstract nouns. Let's revise what we have learned from the video. A concrete noun is something that you can see, hear, smell, touch, or taste. Concrete nouns can usually be used in both the plural and the singular forms. However, an abstract noun refers to a concept or idea that you cannot experience through the 5 senses. Abstract nouns are usually uncountable. Have a look at the nouns in exercise C and try to put them in the correct categories. pause the video, do the exercise, and play the video again to check your answers. Go on. Here are the answers. People, philanthropist, humanitarian, and volunteers. Things or places, orphanage, it's a place of course, and fundraiser, a thing. What about abstract nouns? Yes, generosity, الكرم, openness, الصراحة, gratitude, العرفان. You did a great job. Thank you very much, my dear students. Now let's move to your homework. Today's homework will be in your student books, exercise B on page 40, and your workbook, page 30, exercise A. In the first exercise in your student book, page 40, which is exercise B, you have to make your own word web using one of the nouns in the box below. Relief, charity, assistance. This question is similar to exercise A on your student book. We've already done it. The other homework activity, as I told you, will be on your workbooks, page 30, with exercise A. You have to choose the correct answer from 8 sentences. I hope you all do the homework correctly. And again, if you have any problem, contact your teacher. Thank you very much for your attention. See you.